Welcome everybody to another video of Ancient Greece Reloaded. Today we will talk about the famous princess Deianira, the wife of Heracles and the cause of his death. By the way, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so as to stay tuned for upcoming videos. Overall, Deianira was a mortal princess in Greek mythology and also a wife of the Greek hero Heracles. Famously, Deianira was also the cause of her husband's death, accomplishing something that gods, giants, monsters and men had all failed to achieve. Deianira is normally said to have been from the kingdom of Calydon, born to Queen Althea either by her husband King Oeneus or by the god Dionysus. If Dionysus is the father, it was said that Oeneus recognized that the god wanted to sleep with his wife and deliberately made himself absent from the kingdom so that it could happen. As a daughter of Queen Althea, Deianira was thus sister or half-sister to the famous hero Meleager. In some other accounts, Deianira is said to be the daughter of King Dexamenus of Olenus, and thus sister to Eurypylus, Theronike and Thyreponis. Heracles came to Calydon after having been rejected in Iochalia, in which case the hero had believed that he was to wed Iole, the daughter of King Eurytus. But when Heracles saw the beautiful Deianira, he totally forgot about Iole, and the hero sought to make the princess his third wife, after previously being married to Megara and Omphale. Nevertheless, Heracles was not the only one seeking the hand in marriage of Deianira, for the river god Hyllus had also decided to marry the beautiful maiden. To decide who would become the husband of Deianira, Hyllus and Heracles would be forced to wrestle. Hyllus was a strong and powerful river god, and on top of that, the potami had the ability to change shape. In the end though, Heracles won the wrestling match, breaking off the horn of Hyllus when the river god was in the form of a bull. Thus Heracles had bested Hyllus and won the hand of Deianira. Alternatively, and as stated previously, Deianira was a daughter of King Dexamenus of Olenus, who Heracles seduced and slept with when he visited Olenus. Heracles promised to return and wed Deianira in the near future, but in the absence of Heracles, the Centaur Eurytion came and demanded that Dexamenus should give him his daughter's hand in marriage. The frightened king had to agree to the demand. Heracles would return to Olenus on the day that Eurytion and Deianira were to wed, but before the wedding could proceed, Heracles strangled Eurytion and so Deianira married Heracles instead. Shortly after the marriage, Deianira and Heracles came to the banks of the river Evinos. There, the Centaur Nessus had set himself up as a ferryman, transporting travelers across the river upon his back for a small fee. Deianira climbed on top of the back of the Centaur and safely crossed the river, but then Nessus decided that he wanted to have his way with Deianira, and the Centaur started to run away with Deianira still on his back. A cry of fright from Deianira made Heracles aware of the plight of his wife, and in the briefest of moments, Heracles raised his bow and unleashed one of his poisoned arrows into the heart of the Centaur. Heracles then sought to cross the river to get to his wife. As Nessus was dying from the poison that was wrecking inside his body, the Centaur was plotting his revenge upon the man who had killed him. Nessus spoke to Deianira and told her that if she made a potion from his blood and used it on the clothes of her husband, then it would reinvigorate the love of Heracles for her, should it ever diminish. Deianira believed the words of Nessus, took the blood of the Centaur and kept it inside a bottle. Years later, it appeared to Deianira that the love of Heracles for her had faded, for Heracles had taken himself a concubine in the form of Iole, the woman he had been promised years earlier. Fearing that she would be abandoned, Deianira remembered the words of Nessus, and taking one of Heracles' shirts, she emptied the bottle of the Centaur's blood onto it. The shirt was then presented to Heracles upon his return by his servant Lichas. When Heracles did put the shirt on, and as soon as it touched his skin, the poison of the Hydra started to rip at his flesh, for the blood of Nessus had been poisoned by the arrow of Heracles, with the Hydra's blood on it. Recognizing that he was dying, Heracles constructed his own funeral pyre, which was subsequently lit by Poeas or Philoctetes. And as you might know, as Heracles was dying, his apotheosis occurred. He was brought to Mount Olympus and made a god. Nevertheless, having caused the death of her husband, Deianira was tormented by guilt, and so the wife of Heracles took her own life, either by falling upon a sword or hanging herself. Before her death, it was commonly said that Deianira had borne Heracles 5 children: Hyllus, Glenus, Onites, Ctesippus, and Macaria. Hyllus is one of the most famous of the Heraclides, for it was often told that he was the one to kill King Eurystheus when the king brought his army to Athens. Macaria is also famous for the events at the Battle of Athens, for the daughter of Deianira and Heracles voluntarily killed herself to ensure victory for the Heraclides, just as an oracle had foretold. Let us finish with the following saying: a huge tree can tower from a tiny seed, as Hyllus. That being said, remember guys to hit the like button and to subscribe to our channel, it would help us a lot. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for upcoming videos.